Y'all want to sign too, Grimy? Look at these two dudes, Yui and Nipsey Hussle. On the block.
BigU's son has been taken out.
The clip featured Eugene BigU Henley alongside the late Nipsey Hussle and BigU's youngin, Jabari Baby Wee Henley, captured back when the trio represented hope for South LA's come up.
Yeah. We still out here. Hey, well, you did. Hey, we on tape, man. Y'all don't want to sign too, Grimy. Y'all want to sign too, Grimy. Look at these two dudes, Yui and Nipsey Hussle. On the block.
It's been total chaos since the heartbreaking murder of BigU's son, Jabari Baby Y Henley, on Halloween night. And now things have spiraled into something unbelievable. In a shocking twist, some of Nipsey Hussle's old affiliates, who've long whispered that BigU might have had something to do with their homie's death, just dropped explosive footage showing BigU's final moments with his son.
See the clip when he was live?
Okay, but...
And they said justice for Nip? Wait.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
And what did he do? He started laughing.
Justice for Nip.
Where your rep can mean your life. Sometimes one video from the past can reignite all the smoke like the beef never cooled off. Late October 2025, a grainy Instagram live clip started spreading like wildfire through the Crenshaw streets. An old-school video showing three real ones, vibing on a corner, reminiscing on better times. In the footage, you can clearly see Eugene BigU Henley chilling alongside.
They killed Nip too. Let's not forget, homie. They killed Nipsey Hussle. Eric Holder was not a lone actor in that. If you go back and follow the details, Nip and BigU got into it. BigU hit Nip Daddy across the head with a bat. His brother had to come out and shoot the gun.
Shell claims in 2024 that only added gasoline to the fire. He said BigU called him just 30 minutes before Nipsey's murder, warning him to handle the MIU's noise, whatever that meant. At first, Cannon brushed it off as typical OG talk, nothing serious. But after Nipsey got gunned down, Cannon swore that phone call was a coded warning that BigU knew something bad was about to happen. The problem? There were no phone records, no court mentions, and no actual proof backing any of it. Still, people ran with the story like it was gospel. Once the streets believe a man set up his own protege, there's no convincing them otherwise. And things only got worse when an old Instagram live clip started floating around, showing BigU hanging with some homies when someone in the background said, "Justice for Nip!" BigU laughed, maybe awkwardly, maybe out of nerves. But that laugh became a weapon. His ops twisted it into proof that he had something to do with Nipsey's death. That one tiny moment, stripped of context, turned into years of online hate and hood whispers that BigU was heartless, cold, and guilty. The more he denied it, the guiltier he looked in the public eye. Every statement, every attempt to clear his name, just gave trolls and enemies more fuel to spin the narrative. It was like he couldn't escape the shadow of Nipsey's death, no matter how far he tried to move from it. Then came Whack 100, once tied to Nipsey's circle, stepping into the spotlight to make things even messier. In a February 2024 No Jumper interview, Whack went off, claiming BigU had secretly given up info to the feds during a 2018 RICO investigation. He implied that what BigU shared might have gotten back to the streets, painting Nipsey as a snitch and setting off the chain of events that led to his death. These were serious accusations coming from someone who claimed to know what really went down behind closed doors. According to LAPD's gang impact assessments, the store itself wasn't tied to any sets, just a business trying to make a living in a war zone where every day could be your last. Eyewitnesses from that night, including 2 civilians walking out of the store and a food truck vendor serving tacos nearby, all gave the same chilling story. A dark-colored sedan, possibly a late-model Toyota Camry or Honda Accord, rolled up slow to the curb like it had purpose, like they weren't there to shop, but to settle something. Jabari stepped up to the car window, cool and calm, chopping it up with whoever was inside for about 10 or 15 seconds. Nothing tense, nothing loud. Just a quick street convo that could have been about anything. A favor, a warning, maybe even nothing at all. But then it happened. In an instant, that casual talk turned into chaos. 7 shots tore through the night, echoing down the block like thunder. Witnesses said Jabari dropped instantly as the car peeled off, tires screeching into the dark. LAPD later confirmed that the casings found on scene came from either a 9mm or .40 caliber semi-auto, the kind of weapon used in a clean, fast hit. Within minutes, sirens were screaming through South LA, but by the time paramedics arrived, it was too late. BigU's son, the one who'd stayed out of the gang life, who'd tried to live quietly away from all the street drama, was gone. And as word spread, the internet went crazy. Instead of mourning, the comments filled with street justice served memes, laughing emojis, and wild conspiracy threads claiming this was the universe balancing the scales. People weren't just speculating, they were celebrating. What was meant to stay buried in the past had clawed its way back. And now the city was watching, divided, angry, and ready for whatever storm was coming next. His body was left for LAPD homicide detectives and the coroner to process, while his spirit joined that heartbreaking list of young black men whose lives were stolen before they ever got the chance to shine. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office would later confirm what the streets already knew. Jabari Baby Y Henley had been hit multiple times and never stood a chance. Under case number 2025-04512, the autopsy revealed death by multiple gunshot wounds with brutal details. Hemorrhagic shock and a torn left pulmonary artery that made him bleed out in minutes. It was cold-blooded, quick, and final. Toxicology came back clean. No alcohol, no drugs, no wild night gone wrong. This wasn't a man out here wildin' or slipping. This was about bloodline, a last name that carried power, enemies, and curses all at once. In a city where history remembers your set before your soul, being Henley was both a crown and a target. Official cause of death, homicide. But who pulled the trigger? That was still unknown. Meanwhile, miles away, the man everyone looked to for answers was locked behind federal walls at the Metropolitan Detention Center, fighting RICO charges that could bury him alive. BigU never even got to hear his son's last words. He was asleep when his entire world shattered. Around 1:30 a.m. on November 1st, his cellmate and co-defendant, Loose Cannon, got a contraband phone call, the kind that travels through the underground prison network like wildfire. The message was simple, but devastating. Jabari's gone. Cannon later described that moment in interviews with TMZ and Hot New Hip Hop, both secretly recorded from inside the detention center using smuggled audio. His voice shook as he replayed it. BigU just froze, he said. Man, I've seen him angry, seen him cold, but never like that. He didn't even move at first. Tears just started falling. Then, barely audible, BigU whispered, "Not my boy, not like this." Cannon said he'll never forget that sound. A grown man, a father, broken to pieces in a place built to strip you of every human feeling. We both just sat there in silence, he said. Heartbroken doesn't even scratch it. He just kept saying, "God makes no mistakes. This is a test." But his eyes told a different story. Those words might have sounded strong, but inside, you could tell the pain was tearing him apart. Imagine sitting in a concrete box, surrounded by guards and steel, while your son's body lies cold in a morgue, and you can't do nothing. No phone call, no hug, no final goodbye. You can't hit the streets to demand answers, can't pull up to the scene, can't even hold your family as they cry. It's the kind of pain that eats at a man's soul, the kind that no sentence, no prison, no system can compare to. BigU had spent decades trying to clean up his name, to move away from the old life, to preach peace and unity. And now, his own flesh and blood had become another casualty of the world he tried to escape. And here's the twisted irony. The same streets that once feared his name were now gossiping about his loss. Hood blogs lit up overnight, spreading rumors, fake theories, and clips of old interviews, turning a man's grief into online content. People who never met Jabari acted like they knew his story, while others said it was karma or street justice. It was cruel and heartless, but that's what the internet has become, a digital block party for pain. Inside MDC, BigU was crushed. Sources close to his family told Rolling Out that he spent the entire day in silence after hearing the news, refusing food, barely speaking to anyone. He reportedly asked the chaplain for specific Bible verses, mostly Psalms, and stayed locked in prayer. He even requested a family visit for November 2nd, but because of strict federal rules and security holds, it got pushed back to November 3rd. Imagine that. The system doesn't even pause for a grieving father. No official statement has come from BigU. The feds got him under gag orders, blocking all direct communication with the media while his RICO case is active. But those close to him say this loss broke something deep inside. Even his toughest enemies admitted online that the pain looked real. He looked destroyed. One former associate posted, "That man ain't never gonna be the same again." And how could he be? His son, the one who stayed away from gang life, who worked a 9 to 5, who had a little girl waiting for him at home, was gone. Murdered on the same South Central streets his father once ruled. It's like life came full circle in the cruelest way possible. By the time the sun rose over Los Angeles that November morning, the hood was buzzing. Detectives canvassing blocks, family members sobbing outside the coroner's office, and bloggers fighting for clicks while real people mourned in silence. BigU sat in his cell, Bible open, face buried in his hands, wondering how everything he built had led to this moment. Meanwhile, outside those prison walls, the hunt for Jabari's killer was already beginning, and the streets were whispering names, pointing fingers, and plotting moves that could spark another wave of retaliation before the cops could even file their first report. Black Sam, Nipsey Hussle's brother and the executor of his estate, broke his silence on November 1st with a powerful message through Marathon Records' Instagram page. His post read, "Pain multiplies pain. Honor Nip with peace, not this." It hit hard, a direct shot at everyone online who claimed they were avenging Nipsey by clowning Jabari's death. Sam wasn't just speaking for himself, he was echoing what Nipsey stood for in his final years: growth, peace, and unity. Nipsey spent his last days preaching ownership, love, and evolution, not revenge. So seeing people turn another man's murder into a meme or a moment of fake street justice was everything he fought against. Sam's post was a reminder that true respect for Nipsey's legacy comes from breaking the chain of hate, not feeding it. But sadly, those few voices calling for calm got drowned out by the noise. The internet was on fire. Thousands of users justifying mockery and disrespect under the false flag of the code. They convinced themselves that celebrating Jabari's death somehow balanced the scales, that this was karma or retribution. It was ugly, cruel, and proof that too many still confuse vengeance with victory. LAPD said that in just 2 days, between November 1st and 2nd, anonymous tips to Crime Stoppers jumped by 22%. Over 150 calls poured in, full of wild theories connecting Jabari's murder to Nipsey's 2019 killing. Some callers claimed it was revenge from old rival sets. Others were spinning full-blown conspiracies about industry plots, payback hits, and coded messages in Nipsey's old lyrics. Detectives had to dig through the chaos, separating solid leads from straight nonsense. What could have helped the case was instead turning into a circus of rumors, contradictions, and internet detectives posting fake screenshots for clout. The web had become both a blessing and a curse, exposing clues but burying the truth beneath endless speculation. The vibe across LA was tense, electric, and dangerous. Hood corners were buzzing with whispers about retaliation while the LAPD was stretched thin, trying to calm communities already on edge. People started noticing unmarked cars lurking, extra patrols around Crenshaw and Slauson, and helicopters circling late into the night. The city felt like it was holding its breath. And timing couldn't have been worse. LA was already in a powder keg moment. Social media outrage, gang territory flare-ups, and endless justice talk mixing with grief. Each new rumor added more pressure, more paranoia, more danger. It was like watching a city on the edge of losing control all over again. As of November 6th, 2025, no arrests have been made in the murder of Jabari "Baby Henley. The streets are still hot, the case still open, and detectives are grinding, reviewing hours of surveillance footage, checking ballistics, and talking to anyone who might have seen something that night. But trust on the block runs thin, and fear runs deep, meaning those answers might not come easy. What started as a simple piece of throwback footage ended up lighting a fuse under old wounds that never fully healed. South LA is hurting once again, caught between honoring Nipsey's dream of peace and the reality of a world that still glorifies revenge. If you made it this far, don't forget, there's always more to uncover. Hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the next video on your screen for deeper dives into the stories shaking hip-hop to its core.